elements within the APC that try to jettison that, I think, undefined or unwritten that agreement. But this is the consciousness of many Nigerians that I think power should go from north to south, south to north. When they come to the south, let the south determine where to go among the three geopolitical zones we have. If you consider the role played by the national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, when he came out to announce the Senate President, Lawan, as the consensus candidate of the party, I think that's what triggered the reaction. And you know, so as people said, it's not possible. And the kudos must be given to the progressive governors, especially from the north, that stood up immediately to say, no, it can't happen. That the power must go to the south. If there's anybody that should be seen as, let's say, they're supposed to get credit for what happened in APC, they are the governors from the north. At least they stood by their decision, even when there were pressure here and there from them. But they stood by that decision that if you want a new Nigeria, if you want stability in this country, it's going to be wrong that after Buhari, another should also come there. No, we have to give it to them. So, but they played that patriotic role for the interest of their party and the interest of the corporate survivor of this country. It could have been something else. For Adamu to have gone and picked somebody from the north, as I said, the governors, the progressive governors, have agreed that the next presidential candidate of the party must come from the south. That was the agreement. And they are working towards that. It was very difficult to know among the large numbers of people to pick. But for Adamu, at least maybe, and people are saying they would have done that without express permission of the Mr. President. To have named Lawan from the north as a consensus candidate provoked reaction. So it was a protest vote that no, that's why all people say no. If instead of that, instead of having Lawan there, I'm ready to at least to forgo my ambition, as Dr. Fayemi rightly said, the chairman of the Governors Forum. Dr. Fayemi was one of the major architects of this matter. He was the chairman of the Governors Forum, and he was where they were presiding and taking decision on most of this matter, most of this issue. I think many people down south will have blamed him, and maybe he did not do what he did. We cannot underestimate the powers of Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, because he has prepared well for these primaries. He has been going around the country for over 3 years for it, unknown to many people. Adeyemi, Adamu, Buhari, caucus, the Kaba, the Aso Rock, chose a southerner as a consensus candidate. No, the game would have been different. So you know it would have been different. It would have been different. But they made that mistake. They didn't want Asiwaju. It was obvious. Adamu didn't want Asiwaju at all. Not for anything, simply because a pro-northerner. He didn't want to say anything about Asiwaju. But all the schemings against Asiwaju now turn out to be his favor. Asiwaju is election agent for this primary. Is the governorship candidate of the part of APC in Katsina State. And it's for actually to have had confidence in him to pick somebody from Buhari's town, state, to be a polling agent. You can imagine the strategy. So Asiwaju has been working round the clock to get it, while others were waiting for anointment. Talking about the future of the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, very difficult because God knows our future. A political miscalculation today, Ali may not define you or may not speak about your tomorrow. Things can go to me. Who says that Yemi Osinbajo may not be the one that will work very hard for Tinubu to win the election. Winning primary is also the same thing as winning the election. So when we're talking of a future in politics, so we don't consider it with what happened today, right? Because it depends on how you play a game. But the first question is asking, will Yemi Osinbajo want to continue in politics after next year? That's another thing. With his nature, will he? If he was not really invited to come and be the vice president to Buhari, would he have been a politician? This man is a gentleman pastor. Have you forgotten that? He's a professor of law, doing well, brilliant. He would have loved to be in his church, pastoring or academics, working. So nobody can really determine Osinbajo's future. But to say, talk about this present situation, yes, one of the let's say worst losers, one of the losers of this process, because many thought that he had the go-ahead, he had I think the nod of his boss before he could throw his hand into the ring. But unfortunately, when they expect Buhari to support them, the man just became quiet and was just looking at the process. Adeyemi Osinbajo, despite the background that he was in Lagos here, is one of the major, I think, supporters and aides of Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. And many people thought, I think it's wrong for him to contest against him. Yeah, that's our opinion. But to me, this politics is holding up. It's not a young boy. If there's an environment, the condition, the political climate, and the position is occupying, and is calling for higher service, very few people will say, no, I will not do that. Right? So no, it's not. I think we are political animals. Buhari, I say this with all sorts of responsibility. President Buhari was very, very unfair to Osinbajo in this process. And a whisper to him that you are my deputy. Do you think you have the capacity? For me, I won't say anything on this process. But do you think you have the capacity to go all alone and get it? Because I will not be involved. If I told the man that one, maybe the man would have done something else. Maybe. You understand? But if your deputy, your vice, that has been so loyal to you for over 7 years, at least is pursuing agenda that you know that it may not click, and not just tap him at the back and say, my brother, watch your back. It's unfair to him. It is unfair to him. How we explain for a vice president, at least to fight the structure he belonged and the environment he belonged. The man swim. Let's say the man was law to swim against the tide and to have less than 300 votes. How we explain that? Coming distant third in election. And then she also had more votes than him. How we explain the vice president of the country? A sitting vice president. How we explain that? So there's no better way to explain it. Buhari was unfair to him. One, or can we say he misread his boss, or they are not that in talking terms, or they don't speak truth to themselves? But all this is a matter of conjecture. But I don't think such a brilliant professor can misread his boss. Those things that will determine the election game is, will Nigerians want another to succeed Buhari after 8 years? So making 16 years of a straight row for the North? That's another thing entirely. Will Nigerians want to change party? Two, thirdly, who will the northern governors? Because some people will say, hey, we can't read people's mind. And you can look at the face when the chips are down. Will the northern governors in the APC now, will they want to stand by what they've started and complete it? If northern governors will continue with what they started, and all the APC North, they'll say, no, this is what we wanted, and we'll stand by Asiwaju. I think it looks good, at least to spin surprises. It looks good. For some of us are still looking at what Peter Obi can do. You understand what I'm saying? All these youths that are talking, how many of them have PVC? How many of them that on the election day are ready to vote? And how many of them that when the real politicking begins? I think they will not forget all these theories and the Facebook campaigns. You understand? Are you saying that Peter Obi has the resources to prosecute the election even in the environment where there is no structure? You understand? Labour Party has no structure in Nigeria. Has no structure. You understand? How many seats do you have in the assembly? How many governors do they have? How many national assembly people do they have? You win election by this structure. Peter Obi will be in his village on that day in Anambra. That's not, but it's the people that will be in the streets. So even I think in Lagos State we are here. How many people you can say that are LP members in your wards, in your local government? How many people? There's no street, there's no ward you get to in Nigeria today that you won't see a PDP member or a APC member. But can I talk about that an LP? Or we want to quickly populate that new party to have those people there to the grassroots. You understand? And how many people you understand that have resources? No, I'm thinking the ideal is far from reality in politics. In politics, we deal with human beings. And human beings are highly unpredictable. And the human beings react to the conditions, to the environment. So to say, most people are in politics for what they are going to benefit. Are you telling me Obi will have such resources? These are questions. I'm not saying I have answers to them. But I'm telling you, if we were to be elsewhere, in a better society, where people take ownership, and to take ownership of governance, good. By now, campaign fund of Peter Obi supposed to be swelling every second. People donating. Do you have that culture here in Nigeria? By the time you tell Nigerians who are contesting, start calling you honorable, and they're expecting to give them money every second. Call ward meeting, don't serve them biscuits and minerals. Today, call the next one, see how many people that will attend. That's Nigeria for you, and that's the level we are. If a politician, I'm telling you, if a politician is going to a campaign, he has about 50 vehicles following to a campaign, he personally fueled 40 out of those cars. That's the reality of Nigerian politics. Are you telling me Obi has that capacity? Most of these youths that are talking now, yes, during SARS, we're able to come together. They don't say, can they translate that to votes? This is what we are looking at. Some of us will have loved a paradigm shift. We have loved to see in Nigeria where money will not have role to play. Some people will have seen where people like Peter Obi, people like Professor Moghalu, people with brilliant ideas, young, very versatile, even if possible to drive people like a Professor Dr. Akiwumi Adeyemi into politics in Nigeria to rule Nigeria. People like us will have seen like having people like a vice president of the World Bank, Sister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, to come and rule Nigeria. These are world experts that can solve our economic problem. But do they have resources to do that? Are Nigerians ready to finance such election? So until our people are ready to take ownership of governance and sponsor and finance political parties and candidates, I think we will continue to talk of ideals where realities will be happening. So if anybody is talking of Obi's chance now, I can't rule it out. Anything can happen in politics. Anything can happen. But let's see how the campaign goes. Let's see the funding. Let's see the structure. And let's see people. It's about people. It's about people with PVC. You know what I'm saying? But this primary that went last, when I'm talking of people that spoke well, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo did well on social media. Tunde Bakare did well on social media. You understand? Oh, GYB, Governor Yaya Bello, did well, even not only on social media, in mobilizing the so-called youths and women. Yaya Bello. How many votes did he get? Less than 150. In this campaign, I didn't see anybody that worked better than going to Abiru. That's what we really work in mobilizing. How many votes did he get? That's the reality. It might not be the best. Maybe what you want, but that is the reality. And we are dealing with human beings. So for Peter Obi, well, we wish him good luck. He has a lot of work to do. If he realizes that one very early, and he begins to look for people who populate structures in local governments, in wards, in polling units area, it's better for him. So let's see how it goes.